I want to get to this, Leroy. So did you see yesterday a little clippy clip from the Knuckleheads podcast with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson, which I love that. It's a good podcast. Those guys do a good job. They had Paul George on the show. Okay. Now on the LA Clippers. He's been on the Clippers, the Thunder, but his original team, the Indiana Pacers. Now, we don't like the Indiana Pacers around here. That's a bum-ass franchise, okay? You want to know why? They're copycats. They think they could be the Miami Heat. They're not the Miami Heat. They got that crackpot Mark Boyle, who's the voice of their players. The Heat don't even deserve a team anymore. They don't even deserve this franchise. These losers are up and leaving. I hate that guy. He is a crackpot, and I do not care for him. They got all offended because Jimmy Butler was blowing kisses to TJ Warren. No, he was blowing kisses.
He was blowing kisses.
You're right. He was blowing kisses. They're just lamos, Leroy. Big time lamos. Now, we know this Heat franchise, right? Riley.
Yep.
He plays for keeps. Well, according to Paul George, all right. Now we only have one side of the story here, Leroy. According to Paul George, who remember requested a trade a year early from the Indiana Pacers, the reason he wanted out, according to him, was he had gotten himself an orca, signed, sealed, and delivered, one who was willing to join and stay with him to fight it out in Indiana. And he claims that orca, that idea that he brought to the Indiana Pacers, shot down because they couldn't afford the luxury tax. Now, let's hear from Paul George.
I had at the time the best power forward saying he wanted to come to Indy and team up with me. They like, we're a small market. Like, we can't do it. We're a small market. We can't afford that. I'm like, the best power forward wants to come play here. Like, y'all can't make that work. They didn't want to do it. After that phone call, I called my agent like, man, get me up out of here. They don't want to win.
Now, Leroy, a lot of people thought that he was talking about Blake Griffin, all right?
Right.
That this was at the time he's referring to Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin, I can see if you're the Indiana Pacers, arguable. Do I want to bring in Blake Griffin, team with Paul George?
Keep paying him money and giving him max contracts, but is he that good?
Mr. 4-6.
He's Mr. 4-6. I could understand it being hesitant to want to deal for Blake Griffin. But according to the Indianapolis Star, all right, Jay Michael, reporter for the Pacers, he says, I keep getting Blake Griffin comments over this. It was not him. Paul George is referring to Anthony Davis.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa! No, so Anthony Davis, who had a couple years left on his deal, no commitment to the Pacers beyond that, and team gutting itself to get AD, then have to compete with the Lakers in free agency, made it a no-go. That was their side to it. Now, let me just tell you something right now. This is why
that would never happen with Pat Riley.
That would never happen with the Miami Heat. And this, Indiana, is why you are losers, Mark Boyle. This is why your franchise are a bunch of lamos, because they go out there and you have Paul George doing what a star should do. I always love it. You know, these stars who say, oh, I don't want to recruit. I don't want to be that guy. Bullocks. You go out there and you go and recruit orcas. Paul George is telling you, I got Anthony mother bleeping Davis to agree to come to Indiana. Pull the trigger. Make the move. And they say, nah, playa. We don't want to afford the luxury tax. First of all, luxury tax and not compete with the Lakers. You're telling me you can keep your star happy. You have a star in Paul George, all right?
Yeah.
You have a star. You could be the team, the small market that keeps their guy around, and you say, can't do it. Wow. Let me tell you something right now. I never want to hear from the Indiana Pacers again. I don't want to hear from anything that they compare themselves to the Heat, that they're better. First of all, they're fake basketball fans, all right? So I don't want to, oh, it's the heart of basketball. No, it's not. You have to do with the flamingo in the crowd. Second of all, you guys get outraged by blowing kisses. Third of all, your player's trash. TJ Warren, he got owned by Jimmy Butler.
He was blowing kisses.
Oh, gee, he was blowing kisses out there. Get out of here.
Wait a minute.
This Indiana Pacers franchise, the fakest of the fake, a bunch of bums, Leroy. You want to know something?
Can we take a timeout? Can I get a 20-second timeout?
Fine, 20 seconds.
Okay. When our announcers are doing a game, you're telling me that Eric Reed doesn't throw on the ham and cheese a little bit?
Eric Reed is as professional as it gets.
What?
As professional as it gets.
How about Mike? Wait.
My
How
guy
about
Eric
Mike
Reed,
Inglis?
you know what he does? Calls it like he sees it.
We have the clip.
How
of
about
Eric
Mike
Reed
Inglis?
of that fight?
Do we have that clip, Robbie? Let's hear it. Let's hear how Eric Reed called it.
Here comes Butler. Warren spinning him around, and Butler not happy with that. Had to be restrained by Leroy Richardson. Jimmy, do not take yourself out of that New York weekend. Oh, don't read lips, Heat Nation. Do not read lips. Well, Butler definitely agitated by that spin-around foul from T.J. Warren, and the officials will take a look. Butler is still very upset. Calm prevails, and the Heat go back to work ahead by 23. And Warren right back on Butler. Oh, Jimmy. Put a shoulder into the chest of Warren, and then Warren just got himself tossed out of the game for taunting. Well, neither player showing much in the way of poise right there.
Called it like you saw it, Leroy.
Oh, my. Well,
He was blowing kisses.
Now that's professional. That's a professional NBA voice, Eric Reed. He's been doing it for 3 decades. All right. Let's now hear these carnival barkers on the Pacers broadcast call that same thing.
And Jimmy Butler with all the smiles because the Heat have a 23-point lead, and that's on Butler.
See, and now he better watch. He just got technical and thrown out. They just threw him out. They just threw him out because T.J. Warren. What T.J. Warren did was he taunted him after he got him to get the foul.
Are they not going to watch what Jimmy Butler did?
Well, that's after. They could have, but they didn't see what Jimmy Butler did. Now here, right here, solid defense, no question. That's a foul. No flop, that's a foul. But unfortunately, Butler turns and walks away, and you can see the clapping and following by T.J. Warren. That's what got called. And at that point, to what you saw, Butler basically waved bye-bye to it. But the officials were administering the action by T.J. Warren at the time, so they never saw that.
How do you not go back, though, Quinn, and look at that? He was blowing kisses. The same, I would say that's the same as what T.J. Warren did.
I'm not arguing that's the same, but I'm telling you, they're not going back that far. See, he's walking away, and he's still being taunted. Now, at that point, he recognizes there's a problem, and you can see they're administering what happened, and he did. He blew him a kiss. He totally blew him a kiss. No disagreement there.
He was blowing kisses.
He was blowing kisses, Gene. Dude, I'm so sick of the Pacers. You want to know? You know what, Leroy? I'll give the Knicks. There's deep blood there. There's deep hate. The Celtics hate that city, hate that fan base, hate that franchise. I don't hate the Indiana Pacers. I pity the Indiana Pacers because they think of themselves as this, can-do-it attitude, small market, rally around the old Hoosiers. We can go get it. We're Indiana. But the facts is you're a bunch of fakes, all right? Fake good fan base, fake good franchise. You're just mediocre, and that's that, all right? You best play, you never come up with the big one, all right? Reggie Miller chokes. Paul George chokes. The only thing you've ever done that's good is Danny Granger, and the only good thing he's done is get traded to the Miami Heat and sink LeBron James on the Grand Petty of them all Christmas Day after LeBron left back for Cleveland. It's the only good thing Danny Granger's ever done. And now you're telling me you had Paul George going out there. He got you on a silver platter, Anthony Davis, to agree to come to Indiana. What is this guy, the best recruiter of all time? And you said, no thanks. Can't do it. What? Well, who are you holding on to? Miles Turner? What are we doing? Unbelievable. Leroy, they should be what an embarrassing franchise they are. I don't hate them. I pity them.
Let me ask you this from a fan's perspective.
Sure.
Because it's a business. And sometimes your franchise has to do things from a financial standpoint. But as a fan, do you get upset that your team won't do whatever it takes to get a certain player and be better?
Yes.
Because it's happened. How many times have players been thrown out there with the Heat and the Heat passed on it and the guy gets traded somewhere else or whatever?
It's like they hear the whale music and they're like, nah, not interested.
Yeah.
Right.
They
exactly.
Like you have a whale. Like for some reason, Anthony Davis swam up your trash Indiana lake and was like, and so like he gave a whale sound. He's like, all right.
You know, the Pacers are going to come out and say it wasn't him, right?
Oh, really? Oh, they are? Because they're liars. That's why. Because they're lying. They're liars. That's why. That's all they do. The only thing that they're elite at is lying. I don't want to hear from them anymore. All right. Don't put them in the Heat's class. All right. Don't try and say they're a can do it franchise. They're not. They're mediocre to good. All right. That's all it is. All right. They're a Denny's. Every once in a while, you'll get yourself a nice moons over my hammy. But don't act like it's a nice premier steakhouse. It is what it is. And you were given the opportunity to have a 5-star chef. And what do you have? He said, nah, we'll stick with the deep fryer. Get the hell out of here. Oh, he was blowing kisses, Gene. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, crackpot Mark Boyle. All right? You hack. I better never hear another peep from you when it comes to who deserves what when it comes to franchises. You have the audacity to say, these losers here in Miami. Nah, playa. Go look. Hey, do me a favor. Get yourself a neck rub, all right? Look yourself up to the rafters. Go see some championship banners, all right? Then I want you to look down and look at your cold, naked finger and see no rings. No rings, all right? Because all you are is the hare in this tortoise in the hare race. Never winning a race. Always finishing second.
By the way, to Mark Boyle, when he made these comments about the Miami Heat fans, they don't deserve a team. That year, 2012, the Pacers were 29th in attendance, and in 2013, when they made the Eastern Conference Finals, they were 25th.
Jesus. Did you hear that, Leroy? Yes. And this guy, crackpot Mark Boyle, he's got the audacity to talk about who deserves what. And the truth of it is, Mark, here's the truth of it. You didn't deserve Paul George. And by the way, this dude got catfished, all right? He's not like a guy I've always been like the biggest Paul George fan, all right? Guy comes up small in the reg. Everybody knows about playoff Paul George. I mean, come on. But the idea that he did what he had to do. He got you, Anthony Davis, on a silver platter, and you guys were too meek to pull the trigger. Do you think, Leroy, could you imagine if Bam Adebayo came to Pat Riley and said, I got you, Giannis. All right, pull the trigger, Pat. And Riley would say, I don't know. We got to compete with the Lakers in a couple of years. Never happen. It would never happen. You want to know why? Because Pat Riley plays for keeps. All right? And all you do, all the Pacers do, they play for meek. Bums. Pitiful bums. I don't want to hear from you anymore.
By the way, I just pulled up famous Leroy's.
Yeah.
Leroy Chow. Astronaut. And yes.
That's what you're doing during all this? You weren't like engaged in my passionate rant?
No, of course I'm listening.
I don't know.
I know.
You feel
listen, your hate for Indiana does carry on.
No. It's not hate. I hate the Knicks. I hate the Celtics. I pity the Pacers. I pity them.
Why? They're doing.
I pity them. And by the way, wait till he'd take Victor Oladipo. Snatch him. Snatch him like your lunch money.
Why would they care?
Who?
They traded Oladipo.
No, they traded for Oladipo.
They traded for Oladipo. Of course they're going to let him go. Because here, you can't justify giving him a max deal right? And not make an Anthony Davis move.
Listen, go enjoy Sabonis for the rest of your lives, Indiana. Have fun with that while Bam's taking his lunch money for the next 15 years.